Okay, so hello. Hello.
Hello.
Hi there. I'm probably going to delete this anyway, as in the show. It's just a test. But if there's anybody out there, hello. If there's anybody out there in the wilds of the internet, please say something on the chat and let me know you're actually receiving this. Because for those of you who have been wondering, where's Wargamer Online been for a while? Essentially, we had a catastrophic technical fail. In fact, everything went down on us, and there's a massive pile of wires and junk computer equipment just on the other side of that wall. Rather depressing amount of equipment that is absolutely useless. So we think either it was a lightning strike or something like that, but basically everything burned out. So I've had to spend several weeks. Liam, you've been most patient. I tell you what, as well, I've just realised the microphones over there, we're getting loud and clear from Richard Hudson and from Wayne as well, saying hello. Thank you for two people out there coming in and saying hi and letting us know everything's working okay. What we're going to do is I need to run this stream for about half an hour. So what I'm going to do is run it for half an hour. If people come along and say hi, that's cool. I probably should have put a little banner at the bottom saying, really, this is just a test stream. I think the desk right now is full of tournament armies. So we've got stuff we can talk about, for sure. Yeah. What I'm going to do is move the mic across to the centre. So this is going to look ugly on camera, but don't worry about it. Watch your eyes. Because I'm just going to have to do this and swing the mic across and then swing that back up. And then hopefully you can still hear both of us. Liam, do you want to do a testing?
Testing 1 2 Liam. I'm in the house.
I think we're broadcasting again. It's rather I'm rather hesitant. The machine is whirring a bit, and as I've said, I've had to replace absolutely everything.
Probably build a wall out of the stuff that you've just chucked away.
It's horrible, isn't it? That is a list of a lot of hardware, and that computer that burnt out. The mother, in essence, like I say, I think it may have been a lightning strike, it may have been a surge, but the motherboard went, the hard drives went, and the video card went. So essentially, all I got left was an empty metal case, which was pretty bad news because that was a pretty hefty streaming machine that died on me. So it's taken us some time to be in a position to be able to bring that back. One thing I am noticing is, for me, the cameras are a little bit overexposed, aren't they? So we'll sort that out for the next one. But it's always good to do a test stream to see where we're going at. Is this your light over there?
Yeah,
that's okay. Yeah, that's okay. Don't worry about it. Put it on. It's fine. I might try and sort that out later. The main thing I was just doing just before we went live is making sure we get the countdown working. Scott says, hello Phil, it's been a bit, how are you? And 12 Neef says, where have you been? Well, that's what we've just been talking about, really.
Yeah.
Catastrophic fail of broadcast equipment. So that was the PC, 2 of the cameras, all of my external hard drives, everything. So it's taken some weeks to get it all built back up. It's a very, very different setup because I, just didn't have the money to just rebuild it the way it was. So I've built it up with a much more,
cheaper.
Hopefully... but more efficient. It's an efficient setup. I'm going to say efficient rather than cheaper because I learned a lot of lessons from the previous stream setups as well. So we are back up and running. Writer Sophie Stevens saying hello. Hey, how are you? So what we're going to do, as I was explaining, is I'm just going to run a 30-minute test stream. And I want to be able to kind of watch the video back. And the main thing I did, I wanted really... What I was getting was, up until 2 days ago, was every 10 seconds or so, if I was to move it would kind of pause and then move on. And I spent the last 2 weeks trying to find out what was going off with the video card, basically, to cause that. I think I've solved that, which was the final problem. So the question is the machine just going to handle streaming continuously, or is it just going to overheat from pushing the processor too much? Right now, though, the CPU is showing me it's calmed right down to 7%, which is actually really good going. I'm a bit surprised by that. We'll see if we can do some other stuff. So there's a couple of things I want to test. I want to test whether the overhead camera is going to work okay. I want to test whether the screen grab is working okay. That's going to be an interesting one. And we've got another setup as well in terms of a face cam, but I can't get the resolution working on that, and I think that's just because it's a cheap camera. I'm going to have to try and swap that out. So Liam's here. You're on a hobby session with me, basically.
Yeah, it's a little bit hard to say the least.
Well, I tell you what. Let's talk about our projects, so at least we're talking about the hobby. We've just come back from the latest doubles tournament. I say just, it was a bit back, wasn't it?
It was about a month ago now, I think.
And Luke, who's been on some of the shows, you'll probably remember the last couple of shows we were having issues throughout the shows, and I think this was the problem I'd had with the motherboard, and eventually it just went pop and we lost everything. But Luke joined me for a couple of shows. We had some problems on those shows, but we managed to get some shows out. Luke had just come from winning Facehammer, and we were building towards the doubles tournament when we were last on. I think that's what I remember right. I've just realised I can't see the chat.
And then we did...
yes, there will be battle reports from Patsy, definitely.
There'll be a lot more battle
A lot more. That's the good news, because we've finally finished setting up the studio.
We're just going to start pumping out tons of everything, aren't we?
Yep. So we're going to essentially... We'll talk a little bit more about the channel, but a bit of a refresh on the channel. We've got some fresh faces joining the channel. You're going to see battle reports. You are going to see more in-depth reviews of things like battle tomes and codexes. We've kind of changed the form. We've had to change the format a little bit because the equipment was down for a lot of this. But we are going to do a retrospective review of some of the stuff. Games Workshop have been absolutely stunning and continued to support the channel. They've been aware of the issues we've had, but they were absolutely fine and said, hey, just keep talking about stuff that's cool. So they've been brilliant. But we do have, for instance, what's up there? Well, I mean, hell, bells. We had Warcry come in. We've had
the new Tithe of Bones come in.
Tithe of Bones kit, which is absolutely insane. We got the 2 books to look at. We've also got a couple of Space Marine Codex and supplements running from day one.
All the Orcs and the Free Cities books come through.
What we're going to do to catch up on that, Free Cities, and the good news is although we've been offline, we have actually been gaming, and we've been spending a lot of time building kind of more tournament-focused gaming lists, as well as kind of hobby side of things as well. So I think for you gamers out there, the channel's going to swing a little bit more. With some representation that we've got on the channel, you're going to see more in terms of competitive lists and discussions. So when we look at the battle tome, I think I'm tempted to do almost like 2 shows on every battle tome and codex, which one is about the fluff and the kind of like how I'd like to build an army, and then we get into, but if you just want to break the back of this book and make all of your opponents weep with fear and loathing, then you could do it with that book as well. So that's the kind of where we're at. There's going to be now, assuming this broadcast works successfely. You hungry, Liam?
I'm a bit hungry.
Assuming the broadcast works successfully, we are going to be doing a little bit of a refresh, might be a little bit of a rebrand. Not heavily, but we're going to mess around with some stuff. There's some new merchandise coming. We're also going to be launching a few little bits like dice range and stuff like that. So we're going to be doing some stuff. And the other thing is we're finally now working with somebody locally to organise a tournament. So we're going to start with an Age of Sigmar tournament, and then we're going to loop back round for a 40k tournament. We're going to try and do one each a year. We're going to start small, so if people are interested in the tournament, it won't be a massive ticket price, so it's not going to be crazy because I'm going to recognise for what it is. But what I want it to be is a kind of a weekend thing. So there's going to be a focus on, yes, there's gaming, but at the same time, making sure that there's a kind of social aspect to it as well.
Make it more community.
Yeah, a bit more community stuff, a bit more fun. To that end, we've been working on a bunch of armies. We have not been idle. We
have been proper busy.
Busy.
So busy.
Let's talk about some of the armies, I suppose. Crikey, where are we at?
Last time that we saw these lovely gentlemen on the chat, I didn't have an orc army. Now I've inherited 12,000 points of orcs. So I've got a lot of orcs.
You've got a lot of orcs. Importantly, that's Age of Sigmar.
Oryx, and Savage Oryx.
But you also have Savage Oryx, in the Bone Splitters. And in fact, it was the Bone Splitters you took to the tournament.
Yes. So the latest doubles tournament, me and Jack both took orcs. He had Iron Jaws and I had Savage Orcs. Jack was literally like a cannon. He shot up the first turn of every game. wiped out as much as he could. More Crusher died, and it's just my Savage Arrow boys at the back just going doo-doo-doo-doo-doo for the rest of the game. So it's interesting, but it was good fun seeing a more Crusher go first turn.
Savage. I was there with a chap called Dan, and I was playing a double Beast of Chaos.
Beast of Chaos.
Focused a lot around kind of Zeech, and I was so into, and I loaned most of my army, almost all of it, except for
5 models.
I don't want to tread on the dog. So I built these little fellas. These are cute. I tell you what, let's at least try the desk cam now, see if we're up and running. We are, so there you go. Let me oh crikey, there's a good question. Can we actually zoom in? There's the next question. There we go. Right, there we go. So
it's zooming.
So there's some little weird little Beasts of Chaos. They were Beasts of Chaos
Chaos Spawn.
Chaos Spawn, thank you very much. Obviously focused on Zeech, so that's what these little fellas were. So I built a unit of those. Let me see if I can actually swap the camera back. Hey, it's working. I'm getting quite emotional. I feel like crying. So yeah, I worked on a couple of units that inspired me to go on and basically build my own Zeech Twist Fray Beast of Chaos army. Yeah. Now I've been an order payer for a long time, so this is my first. This is literally my first ever Chaos army.
I've only ever seen you with Order or Space Marines.
Well, yeah, and they're
maybe
kind of
Tyranids.
Eldar, you know, but they were kind of good. I suppose Tyranids was my universal baddie army, but I've never done a Chaos Force, and I am utterly enjoying it. But I have gone, it has to be said, a little bit crazy. So
not as crazy as 12,000 points of Orcs, well.
Well, yeah. But,
it could be worse.
It could be worse. We're going to give some examples of what I've been working on then. So every one of my Ungors, of which there is 80 of them, has been converted. So Ungor lower body with Arcanite, Acolyte rather, upper body, and then a mixture of shields and weapons. So there are my Ungors. Very Zeechian Ungors, a little bit of green stuff work on the back there, just to kind of bring the fur up the back, really. I think that's what I've been working on. And then, so that's my Ungors. Then I went absolutely loopy, and I built this crazy Doom Bull, which is literally finished now. So he's ready for a little final clean and polish down. So that's my big Zeechian Doom Bull. I can't even start to talk about how many kits are actually involved in that. So that's the, if you're interested, the Ogroid Thermitage. That is a Lord of Change head. The horns are from the original Thermitage. That is
Lord of Change staff.
Lord of Change staff. That is a banner from the Acolytes. The lower legs are from
the Lord of Change wings.
No, the lower change
Demon
is from
Prince.
Demon Prince lower legs. The middle toe is from a Tyranid kit. The kneecaps are from, I can't even remember where I got those kneecaps. They might be from the Lord of Change kit. I think they might have been on one of the spares you had. The wings are from the Warcry little chickens. I think that's about it. Obviously the chain. But the shoulder pad, Lord of Change. So there you go. That's my Doom Bull of insanity. I've also been working on, let me see this fella here. So this is a Beast Lord. And again, he's got that weird Twist Ray weapon that's from Gave Spawn that's morphing and doing extra damage, basically. So that's the little Magnus inspired. Need some green stuff work, so I started painting him and decided I wasn't happy with the model and abandoned him. Oh, I suppose we should talk about the Ungors. The Ungors, the sacrificial Ungors then. Here are my sacrificial Ungors. So, obviously they're not actually Ungors. They are wizards. And they are wizards that have been chained up. Still got shield and spear though. Nice WYSIWYG. Shield and spear, you still get away with that. But the idea of this unit is this is the sacrificial unit that stands near the Herdstone. And just gets knifed in the throat by the Brave Shaman, or thrown in the fire. Style. And the idea is these are just wizards that have been caught, tied up, and gagged across their mouth, or their mouth sewn shut, so they can't speak their magic. and they get sacrificed. So it's an on-gore unit for sacrifice, but like a cool little one. And then last but by no means least, we've got a Dragon Ogre Shaggoth in production here. So still early days on that unit, as you can see, but you kind of get the idea. And I think you've probably all got a sense for the army by now then, that everything essentially is bird-like, because it's so heavily focused on Zeech. There's a few other things going off. There's some chariots. I can probably try and show one of those. So we still got this table going? There you go. So this is what my Tuskor chariots look like. If I can... Oh, no. So it's going to be a disc with a dude on, and then a couple of weird little chicken creatures running along. There you go, look. So Tuskor chariot.
Okay.
But a Zeechian Tuskor chariot, importantly. Crikey, what else? That's it, really. I'm going to bring it back to the face camera. So there you go. That's what I'm working on. I'm working on my crazy Zeechian Beastman army. You are working on
my 2,000 point GT list.
I don't want to talk about you. How many? Yeah, how many iron boys? Is it iron boys?
I need 100 hard boys.
Hard boys
for my list.
Yeah, you're mental.
Yeah.
Not a lot to say on that, really.
It's just a lot of boys.
So what else? What else happened? My Iden of Deepkin got up to 1,000. It's about 1,200 points actually now. The Iden of Deepkin. I want to get it up to 2,000 for battle reports, but with Luke's, we've got access to Luke's Iden of Deepkin army, which is stunning. So we'll do some battle reports with that for sure.
Could do a video review seeing all of them.
I managed to get 2,000 points done of Gene Stealer Cult, so they're ready to play. So we'll do some 40k battle reports with the Gene Stealer Cult. So yeah, that's where we're at. But at the moment, this is all working towards a doubles tournament, isn't it? Possibly a couple of singles tournaments. I'm
going to be doing a lot of singles tournaments.
You're going to do more. What else has happened? Well, Jack moved away from home. So for those of you who remember Jack, he's now at university. Which city did he go to, Liam?
Nottingham.
Nice.
The home of Warhammer.
How far from Warhammer World is his accommodation?
About 5 minutes.
Walking.
Oh, walking 10 minutes.
10 minutes. And then we can jump on the tram. So, he's really enjoyed university. In fact, I was chatting to him just earlier. He came up on the chat, and he's put a paint list order in of paints I need to take up to him. And models I need to take up. He's going to get his Daughters of Cain done to 2,000 points, because his Daughters of Cain army was done to live alongside my Iden of Deepkin army. And we both only worked to 1,000 points completed. So that's where those armies kind of stalled as a half of a doubles army, really. But they're up and running now again. So Daughters of Cain, I think he only has to do 3 units, I think, and is at 2,000 points. So we'll see some... And he plays Daughters of Cain well. He really does.
I don't like playing against Jack with his daughters.
I know, and it's one of those things. I think he's kind of stopped playing them a little bit because he was just hammering everybody, wasn't he? So, but they're good stuff. The other thing is, there you are. There's an Ungor Raider as well with Torso. I noticed that camera's a bit dark. This is, again, thank you for everybody who's joined us and commenting and stuff, because you are just essentially helping us do a test stream. Look at this bad boy. Does anybody remember that? That's amazing. Did you paint this, Liam?
No, Sam did.
Oh, did he? I thought this was yours.
No, this is the skin that I painted to look similar.
It looks exactly the same, man. It's beautiful. Good matching up. Cool.
Got to do that with 100 orcs now.
Okay, let's get the base station back up. What have we got? We got some chat in there. Let's catch up with the chat anyway, because it's nice. Have you been? Where have you been? I think we've answered that question. We'll probably loop back round to it. Scott says, random question: did you get in on Reaper Bones 5 Kickstarter, and if so, how much? No and 0. So no, I missed that completely. Reaper Bones Kickstarter, I will check it out. What else have we got? Wayne says, nice, that is awesome. Thank you very much, man. I appreciate it. Either talking about my conversion or that.
I believe it's your conversion at the time.
Okay, well, that's cool. Frost and Friss is in there. Freaking crazy conversion. Says, freak. Ah, look. Hey there, beautiful people. Says, World Prophet Mythos. Hey guys, how's the chat software working out for you guys? I hope you're still using it. I don't get any notifications of whether you are or aren't using it, but happy to host, and hopefully it's still working for you. Frost says that's badass. Thank you very much, mate. One of whichever, I assume by then he was probably talking about the orc. That's the latest comment.
We'll just both take it as badass.
We'll just both. We'll both have it. We'll have that. We'll take that and party. What else is going on? Well, Dragon Ogres. Obviously, you saw Dragon Ogres shag off, but this is actually the rest of them. Oh, man. What else is in this kit?
I'm just getting ready for January.
January. Oh, my God. You just invented a term.
No, I think the term was there before. I'm just reusing it.
No, you just made that. You just made that happen.
I couldn't have thought it was January. Oh, okay.
I'm letting you have that. So yeah, that's what we've been up to, really, building armies and trying to get the channel back up and running. I'm hoping that I'm looking at all the stuff, and we're running at about 7% of the processor. The fans aren't going crazy. That was my main concern, is there be a load of background noise from the cooling fans, because it's not a great machine. Well, it is actually. It's a great machine, but I've had to hack it to pieces to make it work. That's another part of the story. Oh man, it's such a different setup though. That's the thing. I'm gonna have to kind of get used to the change in the setup. What's everybody else been up to? Somebody give me an update. Tell me what you guys have been doing. I do know that I've been working on a Lord of Change conversion for our local GW store manager. To be honest though, he's going to do most of the work. All I've done, he was very generous. He let me strip all of his spare parts from the kit, so he's building the Lord of Change, and he let me kind of have he let me dig through the spares, and that's why you see the shoulder pad on the Doom Bull and stuff like that. And the only thing I had to exchange back with him was a set of wings that makes it look magnificent. I'm not giving any further clue than that, but my God, it looks magnificent.
I just clocked on. I just proved how slow
it's
I
the
am.
most magnificent Lord of Change ever in existence. But that all I've done basically is marry the magnificent wings to the Lord of Change, and I think Stevie's going to pick up the rest of the conversion and painting, so I'll pass it back to him. Magnificent.
Magnificent gets thrown around quite a lot.
Other than that, one thing I've not really talked about much at the moment, I'm absolutely in love with my little 3D printer, my Anycubic resin one. Have you got one of those columns there? So this was done for my... you see, I need the BA problem. This was done for my Iden of Deepkin bases. So this was sculpted and 3D printed. You can see it's done out of the green resin, but it's just got a base coat on there at the moment. And I think I'm going to continue with the Iden of Deepkin bases that I've done into the Zeech army, because I think the blue will look nice. It's a bit hard to describe, but the blue looks really nice against that kind of stone and sand, Plus it gives it that kind of, the Mazichian army is going a little bit towards that kind of Egyptian aesthetic. I've not pushed it yet because there's work to be done on the characters, but I'd really like to push it a little bit more to the Egyptian. In fact, one thing I'd absolutely love is to find a horde of the old, what were the Egyptian skeleton dudes?
Tomb Kings.
But can you imagine hacking Tomb King kits up just for conversion?
Do you know how much gold that they're worth?
I know.
I saw a Necrosphinx for 90 quid the other day on eBay.
Who's up there? Yeah, good girl.
Oh Lord. Although a Necrosphinx converted with a Gorgon would look so cool with the hood over it and have the Gorgon head over it.
No, why did you even tell me that?
I shouldn't have told you that.
Wait, there's that new terrain that's got like the head of that new terrain on top of a Gorgon shoulder, rather than bird, that kind of Egyptian.
Yeah, you could do that, and you could also give the Gorgon the massive sword, so it's like that as well.
Yeah.
I need to stop giving you ideas. And then you put Thingy's legs on the bottom of it. Beefy chicken legs.
Those magnificent legs.
Yeah, those magnificent legs.
Okay. Let's have a look. There's some more comments. It's super helpful. We're using it for live chat every Friday. Excellent. Frost and Fist says, oh man, loving my new Imperial Fist rules. I'm not surprised. They're pretty damn cool. even with the subsequent slight nerf. I've been working on White Scars, says Wolf Brother. James Westwood said, currently stripping 3,000 points of Tau. Oh my god. I see my other drone, if I see another drone, I'll lose my mind. Starting Battletech soon, too. Started Battletech 2, rather. Robots. Tau are amazing, though.
I mean, we could...
Jack's playing Kill Team with Tau at the moment. I think he's started to do a bit of Kill Team with Tau. Kill Team and 40k are the big games at the Nottingham University, for sure.
There is a lot of
Lola, what are you trying to do, Pupsy? Just stuff, yeah? Just stuff.
Do you want to spit in the camera?
We're talking to people. We are. Oh, man. You're just going to be annoying now, aren't you? So Jack's local scene really is heavily focused towards 40k Kill Team, which is enjoying. So Tau for Kill Team, and I think he's been working with his Mechanicum for 40k, and he's getting back into his Mechanicum big style. Frost and Fist says, Battletech nice. James Westwood said, toying with the idea of getting an Anycubic or Elegoo Mars to print some BT miniatures. Frost and Fist says, Puppy Phil, how is your resin printer doing? Says Freak. Really good. I think that came in. It's the resin printer that I've been doing with this. I've really I started off quite hesitant to use it. It's one of those things, it kind of semi-terrifies you to use it, because you've just got this horrible feeling you're going to, accidentally fill the vat and it will go completely solid and mess up the printer.
What are you doing that?
But I've just got really comfortable using it. In fact, for one of the tournaments we did, one of the double tournaments, I resin printed a whole bunch of those little measurement battle gauges and stuff like that.
I think I've got one of them in my
bag.
Yeah,
I mean, I did like 30 or 40. I gave most of them away at the tournament, but... and that was the machine was running like a factory. It was just like constant. Exactly. I think I was printing like 5 at a time, flat on the bed, so not the easiest things to get out, but I wanted them nice and flat, and measurements needed to be absolutely accurate because it's a battle gauge, so the inches and half inches. It came out perfect. It really did. The only other thing sorry, go on.
We could end up doing more stuff like that, couldn't we?
Definitely. I mean, one of the things I worked on, this is from that. I'm going to zoom in a bit because it's not. This camera needs some further setting up. I'm pretty certain it does. But let's see. Let me move these guys out of the way and see if that. There you go. So that is a coral that was printed for the Iden of Deepkin bases. So I'll give you an idea of how well they're coming out. And again, it's got a bad coat of primer on, so ignore that. It was just sprayed to see how it was looking, but that again was done through the Anycubic, and just stick a 25mm dude next to it. You kind of get an idea of the scale of what you're looking at.
Pretty big.
It's
a pretty big wall.
Pretty big column. Don't know what any of that means.
It just happened.
Just broke one of our models.
Oh, no.
It's what happens when you invite Liam round. So my resin printer is doing lovely, and I am a little bit in love with it. In fact, one of the things I'm working on at the moment is a display base for my Beast Lord. And the idea of that being is kind of because obviously the Beast Lord officially sits on the 32, so I'm having a vertical walled 32mm base, which will be magnetized and drop into a 40 or even a 50mm display base. So it just bunk, and then when you actually want to game with him, you just pluck him off and you game legal throughout. That's the plan. So that's what I'm working on. I've been doing a lot of organic kind of sculpting. So I was working on a Trogoth army where there's no way of getting around it. I sculpted boobs for my Trogoth army with nipple rings and scars and teeth jammed through the nipples and things. That was funny.
Will you get monetized for that?
Wayne says, no, I'm sure it'll be fine. Wayne says that dog is gorgeous. She is gorgeous, but she's also terminally insane. She pulled my wife over about 4 years ago now and broke her leg. And only yesterday she pulled me over and knackered my back. So I'm not moving too well at the moment. But she's a beautiful dog in the house. She's just an insane dog in the outside world. James says, wicked, how's the print times? Really quick, to be honest. Way quicker than the PLA printers and stuff like that. I think the best thing about the, I mean, I've got one of those objects here. Look. The best thing about the resin printer is like, for instance, if I'm printing that object, I can actually I can fit about eight, possibly 10 of those on the bed. So the time, because it prints one layer at a time, and it doesn't matter how much is on each layer, that's where your time saving is. So it takes the same amount of time to print 8 of those as it does one of those, because it's just the same amount of layers. It just exposes a different part of the bed. And as long as you kind of think a little bit in advance. So I've got some stock items that I always want a few more of, and a classic example would be things like that coral and this column, for instance. So if I'm printing anything else and there's space on the bed, I will literally just throw 1 or 2 more objects on the space on the bed, because I know that 2 things. I think when it pulls up, you've got like a membrane that separates the resin from the light, and if your object is just in the center, it kind of like flexes it, like doink doink, you can hear it snapping. Whereas if you do it all over, it kind of snaps off the tension spread across the film. So I quite like the idea that you line objects up all the way across the film. And the other thing is the time it took to print out a large coral, I got 4 of these columns as well. And and I think I kind of treat them as complete objects. I haven't sculpted them to be destroyed, but what I do is just saw them in half and Dremel into them, and then I've got broken columns and stuff. So it's a mixture of old school sculpting skills and new school, I suppose. Is new school a word?
I think
term? You're younger than me. You got your hat on backwards.
Hip. A hip form of doing it.
You're hip.
I wouldn't say I'm hip. But
more hop.
Yeah, more hop.
Okay. What else have we got going? How long have we been rambling on?
It's been a long time, though.
We've been live for 34 minutes, which might be good enough for a test. Awesome, Coral. And did you design those prints, or did you download the pattern from the net? Okay, the column was designed because I wanted it to match the Marafi column. So I had to work from... The only thing I didn't design was the actual twisted column, if that makes sense, the one of them. But I took that column and overlapped it and intersected it with itself 6 times, and then put a top and bottom on the column, which gave me the full column. But the twisted object I actually pulled down from the internet, because that's quite advanced sculpting, and I didn't know how to do that. The coral, that coral I showed was pulled down off the internet. I've got 2 or 3 other patterns that I hand sculpted because they were great practice objects to do. I did some eyeballs,
eyeball.
Yeah, I did eyeballs for the moon thing.
Oh, you mean the big floating moon?
Yeah, no, well, yeah, but the one on the base. What's the scenery piece? For
Sigmar.
The whatever. There's
Loon
a big
shrine.
moon shrine. Yeah. Loon shrine.
Loon shrine.
Loon shrine. So I carved the eyes out, and then I sculpted some eyes with a spiral in them, and stuck them back in, and then backlit those eyes so they like glow green. So that was something I sculpted recently.
That's quite nice.
James says, great stuff, you're twisting my arm. Yeah, I do not regret getting that printer. It's one of my favourite little tools. There's 2 things that I absolutely adore. One is this old school battery Dremel, which is just absolutely my favourite tool when you're doing mass converting. When you've got 80 Ungors to make, and the Ungor body includes leg and torso, and 50% of the acolytes have leg and torso combined into one piece. Having a Dremel with a little wee circular saw on the end saved a hell of a lot of time. So my Dremel, number 1 favourite tool. Number 2, probably my Anycubic printer, I think. You can't mention those. They're too embarrassing to admit I bought. Should we just put them there?
Or hide.
Do you think this will work? Can we put them... Oh, look at that, look. Do we do that, look? There we go.
Do you even show it?
There. That's all I'm going to show of those. So I'm too embarrassed to admit I've even got a set. They're really good.
They're really good.
They're really good. But, when if you do a lot of conversions, they're great. I don't even sound convinced, do I?
No, it's mostly hatred at when you bought them.
Yeah, well, yeah, and there's a story behind it, and I wasn't 100% in charge of my faculties.
I don't even think that your other self was in charge of your faculties.
I had no idea I bought a set of those for about 3 days.
Oh, Lord.
So yeah, that was a good day. Anyway, maybe that's a great note to end this test stream on.
Yeah.
I don't know whether to delete. I'll probably delete this stream once I've watched it back. But I wanted to do a full live test stream. I am so grateful to everybody who's joined me for half an hour or so just while I did this test. Before we go, while I think there's a dozen or so of you on there. Have you noticed? There's a few things I've picked up on. The exposure of this main camera needs sorting out. That's pretty dire. And I think I can sort it out, actually. You know what? Oh, that sounds like a really foolish thing to do while we're live, but maybe we could give it a go.
Let's wing it.
Let's wing it. Loving your confidence in me. Yeah, maybe we just...
Contrast.
That's done nothing, has it?
I don't think so.
Take that down a bit. I don't know. Maybe turn off autofocus. White balance. Turning off the white balance always... That's horrible. Not going to do that. How's that look? It's a bit darker, isn't it? It's the auto exposure thing, isn't it? That just gets messed up. Anyway, we're a bit better. I don't think it's a lot better. But...
We're back at least.
We're back, aren't we? So, how about that? Exposure is a bit high, and the second is a bit lower. Yeah, the other one, that needs working out as well. For some reason, that's really, really dark, the desk camera. But I'll have a look at that. So yes, as I was saying, thank you for Martin Dix is in late. Woo! Rolling Thunder says, thanks for the stream. Always enjoy them. Until next time. Yes, well, Rolling Thunder, thank you for joining us, and thank you for helping out. And of course, the next stream will have some proper content for you. Like I say, this has been a rather long road of recovery to get us back to where we've been. I can't describe how difficult it's been to get the stream back up and running. When I thought I'd managed to get everything, I think it was about 3 weeks ago, we were like, yes, we're up and running. And we all came here to do a show. And I launched the computer and nothing worked again. It was like being back at Square one. And I need it when you just switch it on, it's ready to go and it works. But I switched it on and nothing worked. And so I had to re-cable everything again. And I found out there was a faulty hub, USB hub, that was causing... I must have been trying for like 3 weeks just to get a consistent start-up with all the cameras working and stuff. And you spent weeks and weeks trying to do it, only to eventually discover there was a faulty USB hub. And I think that's my fault for using some of the old kit.
Yeah. Because
I was trying to save money and not replace everything. But I think literally everything that was plugged in that night is dead. Anyway, so where are we at?
Coleman's in the chat.
Coleman, whoa, they're alive. Don't delete. I want to watch it. Okay, Coleman. Frost and Fist says, exposures. Oh, we've done that one. Are you adjusting in OBS or in cam software? Combination of both. So the main camera that you're looking at now is Logitech Brio, and it has camera software and it works quite well. So I try to use that because OBS, I think, if you're already overexposed, OBS can only really work with what it's got. I know you can kind of kick up the camera settings inside OBS as well, but I try and work out. But the overhead camera, I've had to buy like a cheaper setup for the overhead camera. It's got very little settings I can tweak, but clearly it's a little bit too dark. Maybe I can fix that in the camera exposure as opposed to trying to fix it in the software. So I'm going to have a look at the camera exposure when I watch this stream back. I'll have a look at it, see if we can work it out. Frost and Fist saying great to see us. Coleman saying whoa, Game of War shirt. Gears of War rather. Game of War, Gears of War. I was a Gears of War player back in the day, back when all of you people were young puppies. They barely used your Nintendo DX to find a Pokemon.
I don't even think I was
alive.
No, I was alive. I
conscious.
Yeah, conscious.
Sober.
I mean, I'm still not conscious now, but
8-pointed star says evening, guys. Oh wow, you see chaos. That's it. 8-pointed star.
we are chaos.
I've started working on a Zeech Beastman army, and
I think the only
Chaos has
army
come to
that
the
I
chat.
don't have that isn't chaos.
So good
is
evening, and
orcs.
thank you for joining us. Thank you very much. Cool, seriously cool name. Big Mac Danskull. What is this I see before me? It's us, and we're leaving. Go back and watch the chat. Go back and watch the show. This was just a test stream, and I've gone into the story at the start of the show about what a horrific time we've had to get to the point where we could even run a test stream. Hopefully it's been successful. I'll watch the show back myself, which is rather annoying because I hate watching the shows back. That
I
feature
still can't get over the fact when I watched my our Beastman review over. Me watching the opening to that just made me cringe on the inside to the point where I was like, "Oh, I need to get off the internet." But I know what you
that
mean.
was great fun. That was great fun. Okay, Frost and Fizz says, "I'll take that, Phil. It's not every time someone calls me young." Oh, bless you. You are a young freak. Right, we'll call it a night. Thank you. Slaves to Darkness. Oh, Slaves to Darkness.
Do we even talk about?
They're so good. They're just beautiful models, aren't they? What they've shown so far, just insane.
I reckon that's not it. They've got a lot more coming than just that.
They
can't tease us. We'll start collecting.
Just insane. That weird beast, the dragon beastie type.
It's like a little like thunder
See, that's
lizard.
what I was saying. That's kind of what. That's what I wanted for Fire Slayers. Actually, like a unit that looked like that, maybe a little bit smaller, but anyway. But
it looks amazing.
do you think it's going to be anywhere near as my... Oh, what is this called again?
Dragon Ogre Shagoth.
Dragon Ogre... My Zechian Dragon Ogre Shagoth.
I need to do my Cornate Dragon Ogre Shagoth.
I need to finish that. Oh, got so much work to do. It's going to look blue like that when it's done. Okay, I definitely need to turn off auto exposure. That's messing things up, isn't it? Okay, right. Good night, all. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for helping out and commenting in the chat. It's always lovely to see everyone. Sorry we've been gone for so long. It was unavoidable. We just lost everything. But we're back up and running now. And what we're going to do is we've taken that time to have a little bit of a breather and talk about what we want to do with it. We knew it was going to take us a few weeks to get up and running. But we've talked about what we want to do. So we've had a little bit of a breather. We're going to have a little bit of a refresh. And you'll be seeing a lot more content from us. So, yeah. Welcome back.
We're back, baby.
Well, we're back.
We're
We're
back,
back,
baby.
baby. See you later, guys.
Bye.
Bye. Oh. There goes a test stream for you. I'm like, I can't. One moment, please.
So I've just been staring.